The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Hello and welcome to the Foster Focus with your host, Mr. John Foster, president of the Parma Hilton Historical Society. And today he's going to have Chuck Mance on this podcast, and this one's called Man to Man with Mance. John?
Thank you, Mike. I love the titles. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Good. I'm. Before I begin, I'm gonna tell the audience a story I've told many times to Chuck, which is that he was one of my childhood heroes. He was the big man on campus in high school, a great athlete, and I was a junior high, a little kid. In the same building at the far wing of the building at West Avenue, what they call the Quest School now. And but a couple of times a week, Charlie would have to go to shop class, and that was all the way deep down into our part of the building. And he would come through, and we would know he was coming through, and we would wait along the walls, and he would come through in literally an entourage of people behind him, all of his friends and admirers that were going to class, and we'd all say, "Hi, Charlie, hi, Charlie," and kind of like Babe Ruth, kind of, "Hello, fellas," he'd say, and kind of pat us, and it would make our whole day. So it's an honor, really. But anyway, Charlie, tell us a little bit about you. I want to know when you were born and your family. Let's start with that.
Okay, I was born in Rochester, and this was during World War II. My father was overseas, and then when he came back from the war, they moved to Kendall, and we lived in Kendall for a few years until 1951 or 2. Then we moved to Hilton on East Avenue. We bought Nichols' house.
Yeah, where Charlie Nichols grew up.
Yes.
Another great Hilton basketball player.
Yeah,
That's right.
And
that was 1950.
51 or 52. I think it was 51. And I was in second grade.
Okay.
And I went to Hilton schools. And I followed through in Hilton schools. And my idol was Joe Tolhurst.
Joe Tolhurst, yeah, a coach, the old coach.
Yes.
And
I followed Joe, and
tell us why.
Joe put me under his wings.
He did?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He did.
Starting when? How old were you when you met Joe Tolhurst?
I was in fourth grade, I believe.
Fourth grade,
I believe, yes.
okay.
And then later on, I went through all the Hilton schools.
Right.
Played sports.
Yeah. Well, let's stay with Joe a minute. What did you tell us a little more about Joe? He's passed away a few years back. How did you see him?
I saw him as a fair man. He was great to the kids, and he handled everything well. He was a great guy. He helped me a lot in sports.
In what ways?
Sport. In baseball, taught me a lot of things. And develop my skills. And also on basketball. And I enjoyed, I really enjoyed it. It was a good man.
Did he coach you in soccer as well?
No, I had Paul Couch.
Oh, Paul was coaching by then.
I was in sixth grade. And I didn't play any high school sports until I was in freshman.
Uh-huh.
I had Bob Stevens, our soccer coach, first year. Then Paul came in, I think he took on the absence, leave of absence. Then he came back after a year, I believe it was. And then I played soccer again.
Started as a sophomore, I see.
I started my sophomore.
Okay, good. And what position did you play?
They had me playing in midfield.
Yeah. And then you also played basketball. Then come the winter.
Yes. Tolhurst was my freshman coach. He started the first year of freshman basketball.
Oh, really? That was your freshman year was the first year of freshman basketball.
That's right.
Wow.
I didn't play JV basketball because that fall before the freshman year, I had to have surgery done. Hernia surgery. And then he told me, he says, I'm going to be starting up a freshman basketball team. And he says, why don't you come and play with me? Because this is the season's already started. So the company doctors wouldn't let me play until after Christmas. So it was before Christmas. I was already practicing. And he had the freshman team, and he had a good season. He played about 500.
Who played with you?
Well, Pete McKeon was one of them.
Okay.
Bob Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
And Terry Lawrence.
Oh, yes.
Was Dave Roach.
Dave Roach.
Yeah, Dave Roach. We had a few players that were probably after their freshman year, some of them didn't play anymore.
Right.
Then Dean Chris was the JV coach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Dean Chris.
Yes. And he says, how come you didn't come out for JV basketball? And I said, well, I had surgery and I didn't think I'd be playing, until Joe Tolhurst mentioned about the freshman basketball. See if I can come play with him. So I did. I had a good year. I had a good freshman year.
Yeah. And you were a freshman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things I loved about Joe Tolhurst was he would never cut anybody.
No, he never did.
If you came out for the team, you made the team.
He made the team. You had your chance.
Yep.
He was fair to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And he was always while he would take a great athlete like you under his wing, but he was always looking to help out the worst players, really. The weakest players.
He developed a lot of good kids.
Oh yeah.
They trained their best,
Oh yeah, he was all about the game and how to play it.
That's right.
Even though he was an NBA caliber player. Literally.
What I used to do is I used to play one-on-one with them.
You did?
Yeah.
How old? All these probably, yeah. Doesn't matter.
I'll tell you. I don't think I beat him at all.
Ever, yeah.
He had that set shot out there, that 2-hand set shot.
Yeah.
And he never missed.
Right. Yeah, he was like the players today. He was shooting a really long, but he wasn't jumping.
Right. He is quick.
Yes.
Really quick.
Uh,
And, so,
I got to know him better in later years through Gary Schwanke, who was close with Joe and Rosemary. And on his wall, he had his NBA contract with the Syracuse Nationals. And it was paying something like, that was ridiculous. It was like $100 a week and $5 for meals. It was something like that. And I forget, I have a picture. And Danny Biazone, who gave him the contract, who was a legend in the formation of the NBA, Joe decided not to play. He was in love with some girl in Boston, and he said, "Forget it, I'm going to go." After he signed the contract, he just didn't show up. Kind of like you didn't show up for Team Christ, And Biazone later said, "I should have sued you." And instead, the relationship didn't work out, and Joe came to Hilton, and the rest is history. So anyway, yeah, Joe Tolhurst, a wonderful, wonderful man and coach and mentor to so many Hilton, not just the athletes, everybody.
Everybody. He was figured out.
Yeah. So let's get back to you playing soccer. Now, did you end up? How'd you end up on that team? I mean, were you a star? You were a star, I'm sure. Were you all county or anything like that in soccer?
Not soccer. I was. I would call average soccer. But I had a lot of good foot power.
Yes, I'm sure.
Being in midfield, I didn't get the shots.
Yeah.
Make the goal. I could, maybe front line. But
Yes.
so I did well. It kept me in shape so that I could play basketball in shape.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Now, was your dad an athlete too, or no?
Yes, he was.
I thought so.
He was all city in football.
Oh.
Yeah, he played at Madison High School. He was very good. He had a scholarship offered to Niagara University, like football, and at that time, the war was starting up. World War II.
Yes.
And he signed up for the draft. So he ended up holding the service, but they actually came out of the service. He had the opportunity to go back to college.
On the GI Bill at that point.
Bill, yes. He turned it down. You have to work at Kodak.
Well, Kodak was a good job. People all were doing that. Yeah, they were making more than the guys that were going to college, really. So,
Yes,
in many cases.
but he did. He's a good baseball player too, and he played fast pitch in Parma. At the time.
Oh, did he?
We moved to Hilton. He was playing fast pitch. And,
I wonder if he played then with the Peaches a little bit.
no,
No.
he was a fast pitch softball.
Oh, if it's awful.
Yes. He used to play against
Grimes, is that his name? Or
Ryans and
Ryans, yeah.
Jay John.
Yeah?
And I was about probably 6, 7, 8 years old, I think. I watched him play a game over at Henry's. Saw him hit one of the balls. He was a ball hitter, natural ball hitter.
Lefty or right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
He pulled one right across Henry Street. It was right on the 9 and then landed on Henry Street.
On the street.
On the street.
Now,
I couldn't believe it.
you're talking with the diamond was in the extreme north west corner of the Henry Street grounds.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sort of what they call Dunham Field. That's the legendary. Really? So you saw that happen?
I saw that. I couldn't believe it. He was a good athlete. He was fast.
Oh, he was.
He ran track and Madison. He was really fast.
Was he a little bow-legged or not?
Yes. Yes, he was.
I sort of see him in my mind's eye as just being a O.J. Simpson had bow legs too. He was maybe that helps. I don't know. Wow, that's what else did he do? Was he a basketball player?
No, never played basketball. It's just football and some baseball
And track.
Track, yeah.
All at Madison.
Didn't have.
Yeah. I think Johnny Antonelli went to Madison. No, he went to Jefferson.
Yeah, I think it was Jefferson.
Yeah, yeah. How about your mom? What was her name? Your dad's name was Paul.
My dad was Tom.
Or Tom, rather.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul was your dad's brother. That's right.
Paul, yes.
Okay. How about your mom?
My mother, she's originally from Brockport. She married my father just before the war. And, she went to Hilton High School. She moved to Ridge Road near Murray. Her aunt, she lived with her aunt, and then she went to Hilton High School. And my father met her. She went to Kobat, and that's where they met.
They met at Kodak.
Kobat.
Gotcha.
She wasn't yet married.
No. What was her name?
Her name was Sarah. They called her Sally.
Yes. And her maiden name?
It's Reddick.
Reddick. Okay. While we're doing the family, let's hear about your siblings, your brothers and sisters. Who are they?
Okay. Pat is my sister. She's number 2. My brother Bruce, he's number 3. My brother Mary's number 4. My sister Christine is number 5.
Okay.
So there's 5 of us.
Oh, and you're the oldest.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know if you or Pat were the oldest. Okay, it's you. All right, yeah. And in your family, let's talk about this a minute. There's a number of you that have a hearing problem of one kind or another. Tell me about your own experience with hearing.
I was born hurting. I had 60% hearing at birth.
60%.
Yes. And I had hearing aids when I was younger, which helped me, of course.
Yes.
To get through all the schools. And then my brother Bruce, he was totally deaf.
From birth.
Yes. He went to RS, that's school for the deaf.
All right.
And my youngest sister, Christine, was the same way. She went to school for the deaf.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, back then, they had busing for the kids.
Yes, that's
They
right.
had speed. They had like dorms.
Yes, right, right.
So then later years, I would say later 50s and 60s, they started busing them.
Right,
So they home.
right.
It was hard. It was hard on my parents.
Oh, yeah, indeed. And on you. I mean, it's hard going to school or even playing sports when you're not hearing or not hearing everything.
I was barely hearing things when I was playing sports.
Barely?
Of course, I didn't wear it.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
No, I didn't play or I played without it. Of course, I watched Joe Tolhurst. He knew my handicap.
Uh-huh.
And he, of course, he spoke up loud. Dean Christmas is the same way. And Walt Vanderbush, my varsity coach, we were the same way. But at halftime, I used to have to put my hearing aid on in the halftime so that I could hear them. But I'm a game plan. You get chewed out a few times.
Probably. But during the game, you don't really hear your teammate saying, "Hey,
Yes, I could.
Oh, you could hear them.
Yes, I could hear the fans.
Uh-huh.
The referee blowing the whistle.
Yeah, okay. Well, that would happen too. Was basketball your favorite game?
Baseball was my favorite.
Baseball.
And basketball was second.
Okay. And is that because, why was that?
Well, I just liked it. When I was a kid, I tried playing with the neighborhood kids. At basketball, and we used to play quite a bit in Johnny Hall's farm.
Yeah, who's the neighborhood kids you played with?
Well, Pete McCann was one of
Pete
them.
McCann, yeah.
Who else?
Did you ever play with Johnny Hall at Johnny Hall's barn?
Yes,
You did?
Yes. Yeah. We used to have some good games in there.
I'll bet. Oh,
In the winter, it'd be cold out, and snowing, and we had nothing else to do, so we go up and play basketball at the barn.
Mhm.
and so that people know, Johnny Hall was the guy about your age, I guess, maybe, but he
He's
had
a little younger.
a little younger, and behind their house was a carriage house, and upstairs, and it was the barn was a basketball court on each end, and it was just open to anyone, anytime in the village that just showed up. You didn't have to check or ask or knock at the door. You just came and went like you would at a public facility.
Yes, we had some good times.
Yeah, indeed.
All the neighbor kids, Chinese neighborhood, we were in there before I was.
Yeah.
We about 20 kids up there playing basketball, wait for their turn to get on
Onto the floor.
Get on the floor.
Yeah. Charlie Nichols, that was, according to Tom Coyle, sort of the first guy around to be shooting jump shots. He was kind of a transition from the Joe Tolhurst set to the modern kind of game. So I one time asked Charlie, I said, well, how did, if nobody else in the league was shooting jump shots, how come how did you think of doing it? And he said to me, well, I used to play at Johnny Hull's barn. And there was at the one end, what I'm talking about, there was a stringer, a 2x8 maybe, that went across at about 16 feet away from the basket or so. So you had to decide whether you were going to shoot from in front of it, or if you're going to shoot from behind it, you had to get a ways behind. But he would get right up closer and jump, so the guys like you couldn't block it. And hence the jump shot was introduced to Hilton.
That was. We said, Johnny Hall, he was a kind of kid that he would sneak down the sideline, and he would lay out, come in and lay it out. But he couldn't shoot jump shots because he was shorter, So it was easy to block him though.
Yes, because also, oops, I'm sorry, the roof came down as well.
Your answers there.
Oh my goodness. Well, all right. So tell me about baseball. Joe Tolhurst was always your baseball coach, wasn't
Yes,
he?
he was.
Does he coach throughout your whole 4 years?
No. First year I had Len Wright.
Len Wright.
Len Wright was my first baseball coach.
Yeah. Tell me about Len. He's quite a character.
Oh, he sure was. Yeah. He says, I'm going to try you out different positions. So I said, okay. I said, as long as I can play. So he had me pitching, playing shortstop, third base, outfield, and the outfield. Most of the time I was playing the outfield. And he says, why can't I pitch more? He says, I got other kids on the team that I'd rather see pitching. I guess maybe I was thinking maybe I need to work on my control more. Because I used to throw pretty hard.
Yeah, pretty hard.
And so he says, okay. So I worked on it. After my freshman year, I worked on pitching.
How? How'd you do? How'd you work on it?
Well, there was a kid named Bill Folkrad.
I remember that name.
Okay, he and I were good friends. We used to go out in his backyard. He lived over off of what's that street? 99 Street School over there.
Hines Street. Oh, or Grove Street is over there too.
Grove Street. Okay.
I'm not sure which, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, anyway, we lived in that neighborhood. And he and I practiced all summer. I was pitching, working on my patrol.
And it got better.
It got better. So I pitched when I got to be a sophomore. Tolhurst wanted me to pitch. On the varsity, I was on the varsity like sophomore year.
Okay, so you went right up from. There wasn't a freshman baseball team.
No, there was a JV.
JV.
I played JV.
But always in the outfield.
And I played the outfield as well in the varsity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But back at JVs in freshman year, you just played outfield only.
Yeah.
But you started.
Yeah, I started. Let me go on different positions.
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah, okay. All right. Before we leave Len, tell us about Len Wright. Describe her. Give people a sense of Len Wright, what he was like, what his personality was like.
Well, he was a good man. He was fair. He was, he was always joking. He had a dry sense of humor. And he was my mate.
Oh, really?
Down East Bailey. He was on the other side of Kennedy Street, and I was on the east side. He was on the west side.
Yeah.
I used to see him. His son, Doug Wright. Doug was a couple of years ahead of me in school.
Okay.
I got to be pencil, so I got to see him,
Close up.
close up.
So you would go over to Len Wright's house or have dinner or visit for a birthday party? I mean,
No, just talk to,
just talk to him.
just talk to him. He used to take his dogs out back.
Mm-hmm.
He used to walk his dogs along the railroad there. They all used to be the old mill.
Yeah, in the canning factory.
And there was the mill behind it.
Yes.
Okay, well, he used to walk his dogs down there, he used to hunt. And every once in a while, he would come home with a pheasant.
Hunt without the a gun. Just the dogs would get the pheasant.
No, he had his gun. He had his shotgun.
Oh, he'd shoot him right there by the mill.
Yeah, well, down towards,
Toward the trestle.
Trestle. Down there, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, he was fair. He was fair to the other kids.
My father, who also had Len Wright at Hilton back in the early 40s, 30s, I guess, because he went into the military in 42, high school as well.
Yeah.
I think your dad's a little older than my dad. Your dad was born about 1922 or 3.
See, he was born in 25.
25. Oh, he's a year younger than my dad. I thought he was a year older. Okay, doesn't matter. But he said that Len Wright was kind of the disciplinarian in those days, and if you were misbehaving, he would challenge you to a boxing match to go down into the locker room at the Henry Street School, put on the gloves with Mr. Wright, and he was pretty good with his. Len Wright apparently, according to my father, who I don't know if he saw it or participated, but was a pretty good boxer. So I didn't know if you had any experience with that sort of his athleticism.
I never had a great teacher. I just had a very
coach, and that was a good. All right. So, but that 1 year, and then you go to Joe Tolhurst for the next 3 years, and you're on varsity immediately.
Yes.
And you're a good player on the varsity.
Yes.
And Joe wants you to pitch.
So he had me pitching probably 90% of the time. And then if I wasn't pitching, I played the outfield. And my hand changes. Joe wanted me to try out professionally.
Uh-huh.
And I was planning on going to school down in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
They didn't have baseball, but they had, of course, they had like men's leagues.
what school was that?
Williamsport Tech.
Okay, why were you thinking about going there?
Well, they had trades.
Got it.
Trades. And that's where I went to learn my trade.
Got it. Okay. So Joe wanted you to try out.
He wanted me to try out.
Uh-huh. So let's back up a minute. So did you start pitching every time, as long as your arm holds out, as a sophomore? Every game,
No.
every other game. Who else is pitching here?
No. Well, Jim Kern was one of the pitchers.
Oh yeah.
And there was who else? Well, Jim and I did most of the pitching. I can't remember who the other pitchers were, but I think he tried Danny Strauss.
Oh yeah.
He played shortstop.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best I've seen.
Shortstops.
Shortstop.
Yeah, that's good to know. I want to get. In fact, I'm gonna ask Danny if he'll do this with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Danny is quite an athlete and a great basketball player.
Yes,
He's probably good at soccer too.
Soccer.
What is it? Let me ask you this: what is it about? There's certain guys like you and Danny Strauss, and that it doesn't matter what the game is or nothing. You're just going to be good at it, just kind of like from birth. Probably you were like the best at all of these games when you were 6, right?
Yes.
And always after. Why? I mean, is this just because you work harder? Because you're just born with muscles? Is it hand-eye coordination? It's not hearing. I mean, what is it?
Well, we both had in our hearts that we wanted that cell and whatever we did, sports,
Yeah.
Develop our skills, practice all the time,
Want to know what you ought to practice? Want a coach that's going to tell you what to do to get better?
Well, Tolhurst showed me ways of shooting, best way, the control your hands, your hands, how you shoot.
You're talking basketball, huh?
Basketball, yes.
Because you weren't a big guy. How big were you as a senior in high school? How big did you get to be?
I was 5'10" and a half, 190 pounds.
All the way. When did you reach that size?
I was a junior.
But you were still kind of big already. Yes. Okay. So you reached full size in high school early.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They thought I was going to be bigger.
Yeah.
So I didn't go anymore. So just stronger.
Yeah, you were just stronger.
Stronger.
Yeah. So, okay, so basketball. Now you got an did you know? Yeah, we all knew that Tolhurst had signed an NBA contract. So you have an NBA kind of coach in basketball. Only the freshman year, though, right? Then you go up to varsity. No, you go up to Dean Chris sophomore year.
Sophomore year. Gee.
Yeah.
And then they moved me up to varsity for the sectionals.
Yeah, because that's the year they win the sectionals.
Yeah, here we went.
With Danny.
Yes, Danny and Jim Curran.
Jim Curran, yeah.
And Bill Smith.
Slater.
So Slater.
Steve Slater.
Yeah. Dick Dutoy.
Dick Dutoy, by the way, was he in your class?
No, he was a year ahead of me.
Okay.
He lives in Dansville, I believe.
Does he?
Yes.
Ron Eckler really thought Dutoy was he was looking forward to coming back and having Dutoy's quickness.
Yes. I remember Ron saying my sophomore year in the sectionals, he says, "You're going to be on ice starting 5 next year." He told me that.
He was a Ron Eckler, who was the Hilton basketball coach, and I think he started in. He told me I think he started in '55, the year that Charlie Nichols graduated, and he said that he thinks that whoever was in charge then, I think was done running. The superintendent brought Joe in, or brought in Ron Eckler to try to talk Nichols into doing a post-grad year so they could keep him around for another year. But Charlie, he was off to college. He didn't. So anyway, Eckler gets the job and then goes on to win the sectionals in '61. And then his father has a stroke.
Yes.
And he has to go to Webster and care for his father and end his coaching career right there because O'Rourke's were sort of had a dynasty going in Webster, so there was no way he was ever going to coach over. Yeah. Well, so yeah, you would have been so you did play for Ron Eckler. Well, that a little bit in that sectional run.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that. Tell me about the 1960. I was too young. I wasn't old enough to go to the games yet. So that 1961 run to the sectionals. Tell me about it. Tell me how it played out from your perspective, what you remember of it.
Well, Ron came to me. He appeared to me after the last JV game. He asked me, he says, "I would like to pick you up in the varsity. You'd like to hit and play with us." I was so excited about it, and I thought that was great.
Oh yeah.
And so I went to the varsity. It was a new experience for me. And it was hard. It was hard to adjust at first. Their way of playing.
They had a different system.
It's a different system. And but I played as I always have. My novel way of playing. And then Ron says, "Don't worry about it." He says, "You keep playing the way you are." He says, "Work the call, And I never got to start a game in the sectionals because they already had this.
Oh yeah, I mean they were great. They were really good.
But he brought me in. Then towards the end of the game, about 3 games, he brought me in and playing in the last maybe 2 minutes, and then final game we came into Waterwell, and that was wow. That was an experience.
Tell me about it.
Waterloo in the Waterwell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
the town was all excited.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, I remember in the pleasure shop there was this long poem. Do you remember that? It was on a big piece of cardboard, and it said, in essence, Napoleon lost at Waterloo. Let's show that we're no kin, that we're not like that. And just every place, every store seemed to have something, you were our, the hometown heroes going to the War Memorial. So, okay, you go to the War Memorial. Tell me about it. What was that like?
Well,
is there a locker room at the War Memorial? Or you change on the buses?
Yes, we had a big locker room in there, and that's where of course, all the ex-players, the NBA,
yeah,
used to change in there, and then we get out on the gym floor and the court. It was awesome. I couldn't hear anybody. It was so big. I could hear the fans.
It was quiet to you?
Quiet. It was more quiet for me. And
did that bother you, or is that a good thing?
No, it didn't bother me. It was different.
Yes.
And then
how about the spatial, not having, you're sort of out there in the middle of nowhere. Did that affect you or not? I've heard guys say that, they were disoriented by being so far away from the fans and the walls and ceiling.
It was like you're playing in a forest.
A forest?
Like a forest. You're playing it was so quiet.
I see.
It was so open. And it was some experience. And then, of course, we were winning pretty well in the game, and against Water. And so Ron brought me in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Ooh.
I got out there and played. That was awesome. I was nervous.
Uh-huh.
I was really nervous. And,
Did you touch the ball?
yeah, I got the ball. I didn't lose the ball.
That's good. That's a start. Do no harm.
I passed the ball to the closest guy. I had some opportunities to score, but I missed the baskets.
So you did take a shot.
Yeah, I took a few shots.
Oh, okay.
And Ron
A few.
told me,
You're only in there 3 minutes. How many shots did you take?
probably about 10.
Okay.
Well, anyway, Ron says, you keep shooting, you keep playing the way you are, you know.
Oh, that's what it is.
He says, you got good movement. So he says, you can be on the starting five next year. That was, after the team. He told me.
Uh-huh. Now, who did we play prior to Waterloo? Who was the semifinals? Can you tell me? And who was the quarterfinals?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
They were usually rivals and better than us.
Yeah, they used to play. But we beat them.
I think you had lost during the season, perhaps.
Yes, we did.
Once or twice was a 1-1,
I think we lost both games.
and then you came back and won it.
We won the sectional game.
Now, Jim Curran. By the way, I just got to harken back to this. You say Jim Curran was pitching, and you were both pitching for Hilton.
Yes.
Well, Jim Curran was like 6'8". So, and you were both fireballers.
Yes.
So, I mean, were we a great baseball team with you two pitching that year?
Well, we had a fair teams. No, we didn't win sectionals or anything like that.
You guys
So
hit,
we
who
only
was giving up the runs? You or Curran?
Well,
Hitting guys?
I think we were both pretty,
I'm sort of
Yeah.
teasing you, but jeepers, that's you can imagine. Okay. So that was your sophomore year at Hilton at basketball. So now you come back and you hear someplace along the line that Eckler's not coming back.
Yes.
And that was probably disappointing.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yes, it was.
And then
Dean Chris, he had a chance to coach varsity. Moving from JV coach
up to the varsity. Oh.
But then we found out we had a new man. Mr. Van Bush came in and coach my junior year.
How come Chris didn't get the job?
I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know.
He wasn't that good a coach, perhaps. What do you think?
Maybe he was, but he knew how to get the kids.
Yeah, he was.
Get the kids to play,
And could recruit them.
Yeah, recruit them.
So now the new man's coming. When did you meet Walt Vanderbush?
I met him that summer before he taught in Hilton. He lived across the street from us. He was born in my neighbors across the street. He was boarding there while he was
No kidding.
yes. He brought his family in probably in the fall. And they bought a house up on the hill.
Yeah.
And I met him then. I was out bad in my yard, shooting baskets. He came over. He saw me shooting baskets. He came over and watched me. He says,
Big smile on his face, right?
yeah. I really liked him. I respect him. But there was not a kid he didn't care
Yeah. There was something about his personality.
for. Yes.
What was it you liked about him?
Well, he was an honest man. I liked him for that. Yeah.
Honest in what way?
His knowledge of the game
Mm.
was the other one. As a man, he was clean. He didn't, do anything about man. He was just an honest, clean man.
Right.
He strict. He was strict with the kids.
You didn't mind that strictness.
No, I didn't, because I was used to that with my father.
Yeah. Yeah, your father
It was good.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. I see that. I see that. So you start. So you end up starting for Vanderbush,
Yes.
and Dean Christ, was he still the JV coach, or did Maurice Weigel show up?
Swingle came in as a JV coach.
Ah,
Now, Dean just dropped out. He dropped out.
he decides, okay, I'm not
He
going.
supported us.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, he was coaching track and some other stuff too. So,
Yeah.
and so from there now, so now you're starting right away, right? Everybody knows you're starting. Who's starting, by the way? Tell me, who's the team? Danny Strauss has graduated. Jim Curran's graduated.
Curran was gone.
Slater's gone.
Slater's gone.
They're all gone. Bill Smith gone. You just named 3 guys that are over 6'6", I think. But go ahead.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
So we had was Joe Hemrick.
Oh yeah, Joe.
Joe Hemrick.
He was good friends with my cousin Mike Foster.
Okay.
You know Mike.
Yeah. Herb Trimmer.
Oh yeah, I know Herb.
And let's see, Dick Dubois.
Oh yeah.
And myself. And I think that's 5. And the person
That's 4, but
4.
anyway.
Okay. Great Bean.
Who?
Great Bean Lee.
Don't remember him. Okay.
Well, he was one of the starting 5.
Okay.
Joe Welch.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the players. Was. And there was some of my class. Pete McCann was on the team. Terry Lawrence. Doug Passon, he was in senior man team.
He had a set shot, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he had
Tolhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good shot.
Yes, he did. I remember that because I would. At this point now, I'm going to every game, of course. Because, like I say, you're our hero. We're all me and my gang guys. We're all starting to play basketball, and we're copying bigger guys like you. And it was grand fun, you know. That year, I don't know. You had a letdown year somewhat. I mean, it wasn't bad.
We had a chance to win the sessions. We lost out by 1 game.
Did you?
Yes. We got upset by Spencerport. The game before that. We beat Pittsburgh in the Bass game.
Well, that almost makes the season worthwhile.
Yeah, it was a good season.
Yeah.
And but Vanderbush, as far as the coaching, he wanted me to shoot more. So I wasn't shooting enough. I was passing off too many shots. And so he wanted me to shoot more, you know, because Dubois was great. When he
was driving to the basket, guys.
Right, he was driving the basket. He was fast.
Yes, he was. He was a little water tick going.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's okay because he should be dishing to you then. Probably what he was doing, right? He's driving to the basket, and when they come after him, he handed it to you, and you shot it.
Yeah, right.
That's the idea.
Yeah. I got to be pretty good outside shooting.
Yes, you were. I was going to say you were a pretty good outside shooter. I mean, I don't know what we call an outside today, but you know, you were that 18 foul line out to the top. You had a good jump.
In the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course.
How could you? I mean, you were too short. What? How were you? You were a good jumper. You also were a good rebounder.
Yeah.
I understood how come you'd be a good rebounder because you were just stronger than all the rest of them. Even though you were shorter, it was like if you got your hands on it, you won. But on the shooting, what? You were just quick. Or how you were jumping? You were just a good jumper, I guess. Could you touch the backboard? Could you touch the rim?
Oh yeah, I can dunk it.
You could dunk
I used
it.
to be able to dunk it. The Tolhurst wouldn't want us to touch the rim. He didn't want us to hurt our hands.
Yeah.
Vanderbush, he didn't want us to grab the rim, because he was a baby, hurt our hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Vanderbush was a tall guy too.
He was 6'5".
Yeah, he was. He probably did a few little, but he wasn't a jumper either.
He
so,
wasn't. But he could shoot too.
Could he? I never saw him in practice much or anything.
I used to play horse with him.
Really?
Yeah. After practice, I used to stay after. We play horse.
Get a little extra basketball in.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So he says, let's stay a couple of. Come on in. we'll shoot some shots, you know. Just, I'll also play horse. It's okay. I wouldn't reduce that. So,
So you're pretty good at that?
yeah, he was a good shooter. His ID with people. And, Tolhurst, he'd be sitting there watching.
Yeah. You did would play Joe, of course, from time to time. I mean, did you beat Joe Tolhurst?
No, Tolhurst was a better shooter. He was accurate.
Plus, Tolhurst had shots like, you know, hit it off the wall here, ricochet off of a pillar, and go in like that.
He had some trick shots.
So he did. In fact, he has the record, by his own claim, for having made the longest basket ever that ever will be made at the Henry Street School, which was at the basket closest to the hallway from outside. There used to be like a porch kind of space when you first went out the door. So out on that porch, through the door, up and in, and they've since removed the porch, so you can't make that shot no more. But that was Joe, and I mean, I don't know how long is that gym, but it's probably
I've never seen
80
that.
feet. I didn't see him do it, but Joe told me, so I believe it.
They named the gym after him, though.
Yeah. So, oh geez, let's just kind of keep going. I want to finish through your athletic career. I don't know if we'll get to any of the rest of your life or not, but the basketball, sticking with basketball. So you had that kind of year. Now you're a senior. Now you're a real hero. Yeah, like I say, you're coming when you pass through the halls of Hilton. You got a gang of people following you. You got all of us kids cheering for you. But you're so modest about it. We loved you because you were just you acknowledged us. The other big guys weren't big guys compared to you, or swatting us out of the way. But no, Charlie. What was that? It's just you, right? Is that your? We already
got I didn't take advantage of anybody. I just got along with everybody.
Were you seeing? Did you fall in love with Teresa in high school?
Yes, we met in our junior year.
Junior year. Okay.
Yes, and we started dating. Probably to get what they call a junior prom.
Yes.
Okay, well, I dated her then. Yeah, I started dating her. And then we got to know each other more and more.
It seems to me like you were a king or a queen of one of those.
King.
Oops, I'm sorry. No, I hit it.
King of the junior prom.
That year?
Yes.
The year you started. Wonderful. Well, that was romantic. I guess it was kind of like a
Match
pre-engagement or something.
Yeah.
Well,
we dated, of course, till we got married.
Yeah. Okay. So junior year's a big year for you, and now you're going to be a senior. Now you're showing up, and you had a pretty good senior year.
Yes, I did.
You were really scoring that year, as I recall.
Yes. I had a couple of 30-point games my senior year. And, of course, back then, it was only 2 points, not 3 points.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course,
And we're talking 8-minute quarters, right?
right.
So 32 points and 32 a point a minute, So it's like a 50-point NBA game. Now, when's the game? Because I can still see you scoring the final game when you set the all-time at that point the all-time scoring record. I thought it was 41 points that game. It was an overtime game, wasn't it?
34 points. That was my highest, 30-point game.
34.
34.
Okay, well maybe that was it. Was it? Who were we playing? And it seems to me it was a
Churchville.
It was Churchville. Overtime.
Overtime, yes.
And it was right at the very end of that game. You steal the ball and go in for the layup. That I guess wins the game. I guess and get in. Plus that's the new record. That was quite a moment. I thought as one of your fans.
Yes.
Okay, so that's so. How did we do that year?
We ended up.
Pete playing?
We did play, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We ended up.
You went to the sectionals.
Sectionals. And we lost the first game to Arcade. course, we were KSA then. They were KSA. You know, of course, we've been changed. And that was at Livonia School. We played the first game. We lost the first game. But we set the record for the most points in the game. Both teams.
Oh,
Scoring that. It was like 98
gee, did you have a lot of points that night?
I ended up with 23 points. So, Terry Clefane was the guy.
Oh yeah, Terry Clefane and Ronnie Hendershot, was he playing?
Hendershot, he was on.
Well, it seems like those two guys were playing guards. What were you playing if they were in the game? They put you up front as a forward?
Well, we had three people out front and them outside. So I played mostly forward. I played forward.
Yeah, that's to get the corner shot.
Yeah, the corner shots. And of course, moving around, I was the guy they looked for.
Yeah,
Taking
yes,
shots.
of course.
Yes.
How about a baseball memory? You got a great game or particularly memorable? You were a hitter too, so not only a pitcher. I mean, you were in the game. You were a kind of a Ruthian guy in that respect too, I guess, at the high school level. Tell me, baseball. Did you guys have any successes? Because Joe didn't have a lot of sectional teams. I don't know.
No, he didn't. No. Of course, there wasn't big things back then.
Nah.
We only had like 12 games. Nowadays they play 20, 25 games.
Mm-hmm. How do they?
We started later. After Easter we started practicing. And but as far as one team I pitched a one hitter.
A one hitter.
Yes.
Against who?
I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was Spencer Court.
That's a good one to pitch it against, Jeff. Well done. And then, before I leave the sports thing, then you had a softball career with. We were talking about this earlier today with Richie Edelman at the Arlington.
Yes.
Which is where you and I sort of got to know each other more because I was the scorekeeper and you were the slugger there. Okay. Yeah, that was you were saying, we were talking about how that was such a powerhouse team, and you said, yeah, they were recruiting. What did you mean when you told me that the other day?
Well, George Allen Sr.
Yeah.
Yeah. He asked me to come play with him. And I said, okay. Because I didn't know Joe or George that well,
Right.
But
you weren't down at the Arlington. You didn't know him from the barn.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Bannon was playing for that team that one year.
Yeah, he did.
Yes. And Maurice Weigel.
Yeah.
And,
did you play with Bernie Wheelahan?
I knew who he was and everything, but I didn't play with him.
Yeah, okay. He passed.
What I saw him playing, though, he was an excellent ball player.
Also shortstop.
Yeah,
okay.
That was the year he was killed. I believe he had an accident.
Yeah.
That was the year that I was on another team before that.
Oh, in the local softball league.
Local softball, yes.
Do they still have the slow pitch leagues like this?
No, not that I know of. I guess you had to go over to Webster, maybe make a point field there.
Bayside Park. Remember Bayside over there? We used to call.
Yeah, Bayview.
Bayview, that was it.
Yeah, I played in that. There's two different leagues. I played with the Arlington, and I also played with the team. Well, I can tell you the Bangans up here used to be the Bangans up on the ridge.
Yeah.
Farmer Grill.
Yeah.
Okay, he sponsored the team, and I played with.
Were they at the same level as the Arlington?
Yes, we played against the Arlington. That year before I went with the Arlington.
Oh, so he saw you play against him. So George one gotcha.
Yeah. So he recruited me, to play with you.
Well, that Bayview Park, Mike was asking me about. It had fences around it.
Yes, it did.
And I don't know how far those fences were, but
Probably about, I would say, 285 or something like that. Not quite 300 feet.
okay, it's because you and a few other guys, there were some sluggers on that team, but you especially, I mean, would hit a home run. Over the fence home run, not every time. Well, darn close. There were days I think you'd hit 5. Maybe topped one that didn't go over, but it was almost like not fair. I mean, don't take it wrong. I mean, I loved it, but still, I mean, it was like you were just smashing over everything over the fence constantly.
Well, I would say that's a home run park.
But it was a softball. Okay.
Yes, I used to have a lot of fun down there.
Oh, it was wonderful to watch.
Yeah. So,
Well, good. Geez, I there's so many things I could ask you, but I'm going to pause here in the interest of time. I don't know. It's so good. We may have to continue this, but Mike, I don't know. What if I forgot to cover?
First of all, I know sometimes I've heard a lot when a spouse or a family member serves, it's like those people left behind serve halfway too. What was it like being the son of a veteran? Or were you too young to understand?
At first, yes.
Mhm.
I was younger, yes.
Okay.
Because my dad, he didn't say much about the war.
Mhm.
When he first came home, and for a few years, he didn't talk about the war much.
Mhm.
And then when I got to be probably my teens, he was more open.
Mhm.
He explained things what was going on.
Mhm.
And then I studied history, and I really respected what he told me.
Mhm.
When I was flabbergasted,
Mhm.
with the experience he had to go through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it was so impressive that he signed up for the draft, even though he could have gone to school, right?
Could have played football.
In terms of like your honors for sports, what all county did they have that back then, or all league? Because I know your father
all
was
county basketball, baseball,
okay.
and then of course the Hall of Fame. They have there now.
Are you in that Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations! What year is that?
60. Well, that was the case in '63.
Mm-hmm.
So they had it in 2001, I believe it was.
Okay. Well, congratulations. I should have known that in our research.
Yeah.
Your family's history with hearing issues. Was there ever a cause found for that?
Just born that way.
Okay, he was just born that way.
Born that way.
Wasn't measles or anything like that.
They thought maybe my mother had measles or something, but she didn't. She had it. It was just something.
Yeah.
It was undevelopable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was myself and then my brother Bruce
Mm-hmm.
and my Christy.
Interesting. We heard a lot about your pitching, and then John brought in a little bit about the hitting. When you were playing hardball in high school, do you remember your batting average, or were you a power hitter, RBI?
Around 400.
Okay, that's pretty good. You hit 400, you make $1 million plus in the.
Before the pay went up.
Now you said you threw pretty hard. Nowadays, there's speed guns all over the place and everything.
I was probably throwing around between 85, 88.
That's pretty hard. Who was your catcher? Do you remember?
Joe Hammer was one of them. Joe Hammer. Gary Clark.
Mm-hmm.
He was the other one. Danny Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Denny Ryan, you said?
Danny Ryan.
Yeah.
He was a good hit.
Yeah. He had a shot in the corner, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Good hit.
And it's interesting. You talked about baseball being your favorite sport. Nowadays, kids are they're addicted to lacrosse or video games. Can you say something about what? You didn't have that. I guess maybe that's why you were drawn to that.
Yeah. I believe so. I was outside a lot. I was always riding my bike
Mm-hmm.
wherever I went. And my legs got strong, you know.
The fact that you could dunk a basketball 5'10" and a half,
Yeah.
and your coach wouldn't let. I thought you were gonna say your coach wouldn't let you because he didn't want you showing up the other team.
Some of that. I think it might have been some of that. Walt was that kind of guy. He didn't go for any showboat.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't want anybody getting hurt.
Mm.
You know, I can understand where he came from, you know. Because I've seen guys go up and grab the rim and hurt their hands and they pull the rim down.
If I may speak to dunking for just one moment, in Johnny Hull's barn, there was this the way the barn. There was an odd 2x4 sort of nailed in the wall about 4 feet up the wall or so, and Charlie would come charging down, driving down the court, and he could just sort of in stride step right up onto that 2x4 up there and launch himself up for a totally. Daryl Dawkins rim blasting, and you had to sort of leap back away. That backboard was right against the wall, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I still have sort of nightmares about it.
Clearly, John has very fond memories of you, looking
Yes,
up
I
to you
do.
and everything. I don't have too much more. You were king at your junior prom, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And was that the year you started dating your wife?
Yes.
Okay. Was it love at first sight, or you remember that first date?
Not really.
Not really.
We were mutual friends,
Mhm.
you know. We met at the CYO in St. Leo's
Mhm.
Church. There's a group of kids,
Mm-hmm.
and she was in that group, and I had joined it and got to know her, you know. And we just, you know, communicated, and
Okay.
that's how we got all each other involved. So,
Sounds great. That's what I've always heard. Go to church and know new people.
yes.
We all need to go to church more. And then in terms of your immediate family, that's your wife. Talk a little bit about the kids that you have and what they're up to and your grandchildren.
My one,
You got
Yeah,
boys.
your wife, and then I know you have Pete and your own children.
Yeah, she does.
Who are your kids? Pete's the oldest.
No, Tom is the oldest. He's 56. And then
Name for your dad.
Steve, he's going to be 55 Christmas. And then Peter's going to be 50 in October.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tim, he's going to be 40.
Okay.
He's going to be 40 in the end of this month.
Okay.
31st.
Any grandkids? Are they married? or
Yes,
what?
we had 2 grandchildren. And they live in Georgia.
Okay.
And one of them is got children with grandchildren. So we're great grandparents. So
Okay.
two twin boys.
Oh, good.
And then the granddaughter is she's got 1 child. And he's going to be 3.
Okay.
Okay. I believe in October.
Okay. Well, I'm almost ready to turn the mic back to John, but wrap up here. But when we were talking about you on the deck before you came, one of the words he used to describe you was one of the most humble people he's ever met. And having this podcast, I knew you a little bit because my younger brother and your son Pete were graduates together. And I think when I think of legacy, I think that's passed along to Peter because he was one of the Heis's favorite people to come around. So you've passed a really good boy down to earth, and you should be very proud. And I'm really proud you've been on the podcast.
Thank you.
You got anything else?
No, thanks. It's been
Okay.
great, Charlie. As
Well,
always,
this has
my friend.
been
I hope
the
I was
Foster.
helpful.
You were great. The Foster Focus, man to man with Mance. And thank you very much for joining us. And we'll see you real soon.
Thanks.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find